Hello everyone, this is PKL Entertainment and we're back again, and here now we have another video for you, and this will be another edition in our unrated, underappreciated movie review series, and this time we will look at the tense action thriller 16 Blocks. Released on March the 3rd, 2006, it stars Bruce Willis, Mos Def and David Morse, and it was directed by revered and acclaimed director Richard Donner, who sadly passed away in 2021 at 91 years old. Now, the setup and story of 16 Blocks is that we are in the present day following NYPD Detective Jack Mosely, who's very much a tired and weary alcoholic, very much at the end of his career. After a late night shift, he's asked to transport a witness named Eddie Bunker to court 16 blocks away to give a testimony. After saving Eddie from being shot in his car by a gunman, Jack takes Eddie to refuge in a small bar while he calls for backup. When his longtime partner Frank Nugent arrives with other cops, everything seems safe, but Jack realises that Frank has arrived to kill Eddie. Now, this is because Eddie's testimony in court is against several corrupt cops, which would implicate all of Frank's men. So when the cops look to kill Eddie and make it look as if Eddie shot at them first, Jack comes to his rescue and the two escape the rest of the cops. What then follows is a relentless pursuit all over the city as Jack does whatever he can to protect Eddie from being killed and get him to the courthouse so that he can testify. Now, 16 Blocks is an excellent, very tense and suspenseful and very exciting action drama. Running at a lean 102 minutes, it's a prime example of precise and compelling movie making, never straying away from its overall narrative. Whilst so many other movies would have overstuffed the story with extended action sequences or lengthy exposition, 16 Blocks maintains its focus with a high pace and energy. You really are on the edge of your seat all the way through as you root for the two lead characters in order for them to survive. Now, whilst the premise may be a bit outlandish, and yes, there are definite echoes of previous Bruce Willis action films from the likes of Die Hard with a Vengeance and The Last Boy Scout, for the most part 16 Blocks works because it's smaller in scale. It's very much more restrained and far more of an intimate piece. In terms of the action, the sequences are very tight and compact and claustrophobic, which overall adds to the tension of the film. The movie also carries a certain resonance, as it was sadly the last film of Richard Donner's career, who of course delivered still the most iconic live-action Superman interpretation in 1978 with Christopher Reeve in the lead role. He created other famous films such as The Omen and also The Goonies. He did of course define the very much buddy cop two-hander dynamic in Lethal Weapon, which like 16 Blocks was very lean and efficient in its pacing, relying very much on the chemistry of its lead performance. And we have something similar here in this movie. Bruce Willis is very good as Jack, very much defying the iconic association that we all know him to be in terms of John McClane from the Die Hard films. This time he portrays far more of a jaded character, very much wanting to do things by the book, and this is what makes him instantly more likeable and empathetic. Mos Def also does really well as Eddie. He's a very shy, introverted personality, and he actually lends a lot of the more heartfelt moments throughout this film, and I very much like the rapport that he has with Bruce Willis. The film, because of its smaller scale, does allow a lot of time for good interaction between the two characters, which never descends into cheap racial banter just for comedy. I also give credit to David Morse as Frank, very much the story's antagonist. The character himself is very tough and vigorous in terms of his pursuit of Jack and Eddie, and I think the film does very well to establish the past relationship between both Frank and Jack. So if I had to give an overall score for 16 Blocks, I would give it a 7.9 out of 10. So then we move on to the overall release of 16 Blocks, and on a budget of 52 million, it managed to only gross 65.7 million at the box office, barely making its money back. So why didn't it perform as well? Well, I think one of the biggest reasons was that by the time of its release, we had gone through such a long list of action dramas and crime thrillers, especially throughout the 80s and 90s. So at the time of its arrival, 16 Blocks probably came very much as unremarkable, again because of its smaller scale. Many audiences just didn't see anything particularly special or distinctive about the film in terms of its premise. It probably presented something that they'd seen 100 times before. After becoming one of the biggest superstars of the 1990s, Bruce Willis' star power had also waned after a couple of flops preceding this film, so he wasn't the prolific box office star that he used to be. Plus, the lead role that he was playing was very much removed from the far livelier, wisecracking personality that he had defined so much throughout the peak of his career. So despite all of this, I still think 16 Blocks remains a compelling, well-paced action drama with two very strong performances in the lead roles, and the final film that's very much of a worthy bookend to Richard Donner's career. And because of all of those elements, this is why I firmly believe that 16 Blocks is very much of an underappreciated movie that deserves far more respect and appreciation post its release. So those are my overall thoughts and feelings and review of 16 Blocks. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you have any other films like this that you would like to see me review, then let me know within the comments, and if I've seen the film, then I'll provide commentary on that film as well. Please also hit and like those subscription and notification buttons so I can provide you with more high quality content like this in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves, stay safe distances, and I will see you very, very soon.